Hey friends, this is Derrick Broze with the Conscious Resistance Network, and today we are going to talk about the Bilderberg meeting. We're going to talk about whether or not this still has relevance in my eyes, in your eyes, and we'll just get into all the details for Bilderberg 2019. But before we talk about that, I want to remind you guys to bookmark theconsciousresistance.com to get all of our latest content. You can see everything we're doing here, new videos, new articles. You can sign up for minds.com, join Minds through the Conscious Resistance if you would like to sign up through our referral link. That would be great. As part of our Divest from Facebook campaign, you can follow us on all our social media, get our email newsletter, and if you want to hook up with Brave Botanicals, our partner, and get a free ounce of kratom, click this link right there. All right, so let's get into it. Just the past couple days, Bilderberg, which I think maybe I should start excuse me, at the beginning, in case there's anyone out there who has somehow found their way to my channel and doesn't know what the Bilderberg meeting is or the Bilderberg group is. It's really some, I think, 101 for conspiracy research, conspiracy culture. Many people heard about this in the mid 2000s, and many people knew about it before, but most of us, let's say in the internet era, in the YouTube era, found out about it through documentaries from InfoWars and from We Are Change and from other activists, American Free Press, Jim Tucker, and others who've been following the Bilderberg group since the very beginning, or at least since the 80s. And the group has been meeting since 1954, and eventually they did put up a website because so many people started showing up to the Bilderberg meetings in different parts of the world, where you have the heads of state, you have heads of important media companies and universities and corporations meeting secretly in different parts of the world every June since the 50s. And this is a closed-door meeting where they don't discuss, the actual agenda items. They don't discuss what they're, who says what and things of that sort. They have some privacy related to the topics. But after so much pressure, after so many people going and protesting and being at the hotels and at the event and just making a lot of noise, I guess, then the group was forced to kind of make a public face. So a few years back, they created a website. See, in 2016, they don't track anything before that. Starting in 2016, they started posting their official agenda online. Typically, this would be leaked to people, and we would still find out. But now, Bilderberg puts somewhat of a public face. So, as I said, powerful people from all over the world, all different sectors, all different industries. Some people say this is the basis for the New World Order, the deep state, the global deep state, at least the Western deep state, things of that sort, because most of the nations tend to come from Europe or from America. You're not seeing Chinese officials. You're not seeing Russian officials here. This is the Western, hegemony, I guess you could say. So just a couple days ago, it was announced that starting today, the Bilderberg meeting is going to take place in Montreux, Switzerland, for the 67th meeting for the next few days, this weekend. 130 participants from 23 countries, and it says a diverse group of political leaders and experts from industry, finance, academia, labor, and the media. And their topics: a stable strategic order, what next for Europe, climate change and sustainability, China, Russia, the future of capitalism, Brexit, the ethics of artificial intelligence, the weaponization of social media, the importance of space, and cyber threats. Now, I could sit here and give you guys a long-winded video about my speculation on what each of these means, but, there's already lots of videos out there. Go look at We Are Change or Dan Dix on Press for Truth if you want to get speculation. I'm not here to speculate because at the end of the day, none of us really know, but it does give you somewhat of an indication of what will be on the table. Now, it doesn't tell you which way it'll go. When they say the weaponization of social media, now are they saying that in the sense of like, oh, we have to stop the weaponization of social media, or we need to continue the weaponization of social media for our ends? I think it's probably the second. But again, I won't speculate as to what the true purposes of these agendas are. And here are the list of people who are attending. As I said, like 150 people. A lot of these names won't mean anything to most of us because we don't really pay attention to every single random politician and official and things of that sort. But when you look at the names, look at the names of who they're representing, and that's when it starts to become clear, who the power players are. You got of course, the steering committee of the Bilderberg Group. Let's see, you got a member of the House of Lords, party leaders, the Office of the Secretary of Defense from the United States, James Baker. We got who was with the Bush administration, Goldman Sachs International president, advisor to the G20. We have somebody from Oxford University, Norwegian University, the World Economic Forum, the Green Party, the Bank of England. We have Office of the Secretary of Defense, so the Space Council, National Space Council, Intelligence, Danish Defense Intelligence Service, the director of the Danish Intelligence Service, so that's pretty interesting. Goldman Sachs International again. We have banking holdings. We have media, Palantir. If you guys don't know about Palantir, this is a huge data mining company. They are able to catalog all kinds of information about us. Of course, Henry Kissinger is there. And on and on and on. I'll let you guys look into this again. I don't want to just say, okay, we have Washington Post, we have the NBC News. So you kind of get the point here. Bloomberg, editor-in-chief, the Economist, editor-in-chief. So these are top people representing various outlets, media outlets, organizations, institutions of power, not just random people who have an influence in the world. This is why people say you got the Eric Schmidt, formerly of Google, who's with Alphabet Inc., who owns Google. You can just go through this list and see a number of important people in their realms. We also have, here's some mainstream reports, Bilderberg meeting, who's going on? And this is probably the biggest, I think, point to make here, is that Jared Kushner, who is the son-in-law and senior advisor to Donald Trump, is going to be attending the meeting. For those of you who out there who think that Donald Trump is fighting for the good guys. Now, all of a sudden, unless you guys think Bilderberg Group is the good guys and are the alliance fighting the deep state, then I think there would be reason to be suspicious of why Jared Kushner would be there. Obviously, he's there to represent Donald Trump and will communicate whatever he is told back to Donald Trump. You have the Bank of England governor, former Google CEO, as we said. The NATO Secretary General is going to be there. So lots of powerful people. And senior White House advisor Kushner to meet with King of Jordan and attend Bilderberg meeting. He will meet with the king on Wednesday in an effort to persuade the country. The conference will revolve around the Palestinian economy, and then, as it says, he will attend the Bilderberg meeting. So we know for sure that is taking place. I found this report today talking about how in the past Prince Charles and Prince Philip have attended the Bilderberg meeting. Apparently in 1986, Prince Charles attended. In 1965 and 1967, Prince Philip and his uncle Lord Louis Mountbatten have attended the meetings. So royalty attending the meetings. And Dutch King, Prime Minister, to attend the Bilderberg meeting. So we got royalty from the Dutch and their Prime Minister that is attending. We also have this story from last year that some of you may remember, that the Daily Mail actually had a journalist go in last year in 2018 and kind of infiltrate. And if you didn't see this last year, it's a pretty good article, and it's got videos and clips from inside the Bilderberg group, and it shows you they have scorecards where the attendees can evaluate the topics. This was in Turin, Italy last June. Artificial intelligence, political and security implications. Do you think this is an important topic? 1 through 5 is a quality moderator, a quality panelist. They have, this is, where are we? Whither free trade, populism in Europe. So they give them scorecards. They give them little toiletries and, go home bags. It says that a coffee table art book with a foreword from the Agnelli family. If you've never looked into the Agnelli family, I looked into them. They're pretty powerful people, and they've been involved in Bilderberg since the beginning. So, again, this is just the latest in the Bilderberg meeting. And by the title of the video, you're probably, you get the point of why I'm doing this video. I'm asking, does it matter? Does Bilderberg still matter? Yeah, I'm thankful that Dan Dix and Luke Rukowski and Charlie Skelton and others do go out there, Josh Friedman, and if they can afford to fly all around the world and to attend these meetings. But at the end of the day, what does it really do? Whenever I used to see the Bilderberg protests and Alex Jones was out there and David Icke, and it just looked like it turned into a big festival of anything. And people are just yelling at cars, driving in, and screaming and shouting at the buildings. And it's like, is this really effective? Like, what if all that money and energy was spent actually trying to pull people away from the quote-unquote Bilderberg agenda and, actually getting people to discuss the issues. Like, for example, if Bilderberg is talking about climate change and sustainability, perhaps the people need to discuss what that means for us and how we can take that under our own hands. If they're talking about artificial intelligence, social media, cyber threats, China, we need to maybe figure out how do we as a people discuss these ideas. So I've never attended the Bilderberg Conference to cover it. I've reported on it a couple times over the years, but I have, last year I was interviewed by RT, And I asked the question, is the G7 a distraction from Bilderberg? And we talked all about this because G7 and Bilderberg were happening at the same time, and I thought that was pretty curious. But I've also previously, in 2016, put out this video, Stop Paying Attention to Bilderberg and Claim Your Power. And that's basically the message that I'm sharing again today. We had one of our other contributors write this article, The Reason Bilderberg Does Not Matter, and kind of discussing the similar ideas. So I don't know. I just feel like, like I said, I'm thankful to people like Dan Dix and Aaron Dykes and everybody who's reporting and talking about this. I know I saw on TruthStream Media, they were kind of saying, why is nobody in the independent media talking about this? Well, I can only speak for myself. I don't think it's that important anymore. I mean, if you're just waking up and you're hearing about the Bilderberg group for the first time, well, maybe we should create a 101 Bilderberg course where people watch a documentary, they learn all the quotes and all the influence that Bilderberg has had over the years and the attendees have had on shaping the world. We share that with them, and then we move on, right? I mean, these people are a part of the global control system. I don't know that they're the top of the pyramid. I think they're definitely, based on all evidence, they're even more powerful players. And what we know from last year's, and I guess this is some of the good that has come from people reporting on it, what we know from last year is that Luke and others were able to see that some people actually Skype in or teleconference into the meeting. So they might not be listed on the official meeting, but they are, they're still attending in a different way, I guess you could say. Now, also, Pompeo, Secretary of State Pompeo, he is apparently supposed to attend. He's not, again, on the official list, but that's another important name. Let's see if the media reports on that. That's another important name from the U.S. that is apparently attending. And so I do think there may be some value to do a cursory search or a cursory kind of, notice what's going on. Pompeo and Kushner head to Bilderberg meeting, a mysterious gathering of the global elite. This was just reported 4 minutes ago on the Washington Post. I'm blocking my eyes, so I'm not going to be able to see it. Yeah, Washington Post doesn't want to let me see the article, but you can go see it for yourself. So Washington Post is even reporting on it this morning. They reported just, Bilderberg meeting 2019, the secretive event that Mike Pompeo and Jared Kushner are headed to. So we're getting some mainstream coverage a little bit, but for the most part, it is being kind of ignored. I don't think they can ignore it as much as they want to. See CNBC, Finance, Yahoo, Washington Post, Countercurrents, Daily Express, Pompeo to discuss Iran and Europe and make a side trip to a secretive conference in the Alps. The Raw story. So it's getting some coverage, and that's progress, right? Because years ago, there was no coverage of this at all. It was only independent media that was covering it. So I guess, the people who have gone have helped make it become an issue that the mainstream can't ignore, although they downplay it and they say it's just a bunch of conspiracy theories. This is just people meeting and they want to speak in private. Of course, I would always say, why do they need to speak in private? If they can't say what they really feel publicly, then maybe there's something wrong with what they really feel. But my whole point with this video is to say that I don't know that it's worth spending my limited resources. If other people got unlimited resources, then sure, go to Bilderberg. But if those of us who are in the independent media and every day we have to decide what stories do we want to cover, what do we want to report on, I'm trying to get back to on-the-ground reporting. And yeah, Bilderberg could be a part of that, but I'd rather highlight struggles and, independent struggles, activist struggles, indigenous struggles, stories that need to be told, more than just going and waiting outside of a hotel, sneaking around, trying to get whatever I could. That has some value. It can be a fun experience. But overall, it's not going to do anything, I think, for the larger picture of freeing people from these control systems and helping them, free themselves, which is what I care about more than anything. More than chasing Bilderberg around, I care about freeing people and helping them find their own power. So that's what I'm after. And if you guys think that that's valuable, well, then I think you will probably continue to watch my content. Like I said, we could sit here and look at the list and speculate all day. And if you want to do that, look on YouTube. You'll find other videos of people who speculate. But at the end of the day, they don't know anything more than we know, than I know. Unless they've got sources inside, which Jim Tucker's passed, and he seemed to be the only one who actually had sources inside. The rest of us are just going off of whatever the hell we think. Now, we can track these people. Luke or maybe some of them can go up to them and put a camera in their face and ask them a question. But based on past history, they're not going to speak. So I think my resources, my time, energy are better spent elsewhere. But that's just me. I'd rather be in the garden. I'd rather be out here in Houston trying to build community, trying to connect people, working on my own self, on my own shit, because I got a lot of shit to work on. instead of giving away my power and thinking that these Bilderbergs are going to save the day or even destroy the day. Yes, they have a lot of power, and that's important to recognize, but we also have a lot of power. So let's claim that power. Let's stop giving away our power and let's live it right now in this moment. Let's make a resolution to ourselves to live every day in our own power and stop giving power away. It doesn't mean we need to totally ignore these people, although it might help to just push them out and to focus on empowering yourself. But let's resolve every day to uplift ourselves and to empower ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, and to empower those around us. Can we do that? Can you do that? I think I'm going to do that. I need to focus more on myself than I do on Bilderberg. For the good of everyone, focus on yourself. Remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.